Hey guys, it's Jen here from Nails by Jen. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. So today's video is another watch me work video, and I am actually recreating a design from Instagram today. So the Instagram page that I am taking this design from is Nails by Tony. He did an amazing job. I will post a picture of his original set somewhere in this video for you guys to check it out, and I will also link his Instagram below. So if this is something you're interested in, stick around, keep watching. As always, don't forget to click that like and subscribe for me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and let's get started. Alright guys, so it's time to say goodbye to her beautiful butterfly nails. I have a watch me work video on these as well. I will post the link to that below for you guys. So I am just going to be removing the top layer. I'm going to be taking away these butterflies. I'm using my 4X carbide bit that you guys know I love. And I'm still using the Melody Susie e-file. It is called Scarlet. And as I said, I'm just taking off that top layer. I'm also going to be removing any little bits of lifting. She actually had a little more lifting than she normally does. It's very minimal, but she really never has any lifting, so I am just being very careful to tickle away that lifting wherever it is with the e-file, and if I cannot get at it with the e-file, I will get the rest of it with the hand file. So I'm just taking off that thin layer of the top coat and the butterflies, and then we're going to move into the next step. So one thing I want to mention to you guys, especially people who are new to the industry, if you are going to be using cylinder bits like this, the shape is very sharp at the edge. So you have to be very careful when you are going along the cuticle area. If you have any lifting, you do not want to cut the client. I have been using these type of bits for years and years, my entire career, to be honest. I have tried some other football shaped ones or rounded edge ones, and I just have not found that I've liked using them. I find that I haven't found maybe some that are coarse enough. I'm not sure, but I have tried all kinds of different bits, some that were like $40 a piece, some that were inexpensive, and I just haven't found any that either cut through the acrylic the way that these do or last as long as these ones do. And I actually always get my carbide bits whenever I travel. I just tend to hit up suppliers everywhere I go, and I always find carbide bits, and they're always the best carbide bits. So I'm actually running out of them, and these ones are starting to dull out, and unfortunately, because we have not been able to travel, I haven't been able to get any new ones. So keep that in mind when you're going around the cuticle area, that you want to be very careful if you are using a cylinder bit. Alright guys, so the next step is to push back the proximal nail fold so that we expose all of that cuticle. And then I'm going to go in with my hand file, and I'm going to refine the shape a little bit, and I'm also going to remove any little bits of lifting that are left, and then we're going to get ready to use the e-file to get rid of the cuticle. So I've had a few people DM me and ask me why in my videos I wear gloves only when I am filing, and I don't use them or wear them when I am applying product. So simply the reason is because I actually get contact dermatitis on a few of my fingers when I have too much contact with nail dust or the acrylic dust. So I only wear the gloves when I'm using the drill or when I'm using my hand file, because it causes the dust to fly around. But when I'm applying the product, I don't worry about that. So I actually started getting contact dermatitis about 5 years into my career, and as long as I wear the gloves while I'm using the file or while I'm using the e-file, it's totally fine. But I don't use it for sanitation reasons, because both myself and my clients, we wash our hands, so I'm not concerned about touching their fingers with my fingers without a glove. Alright guys, so on to the next step. I am going in with my e-file and my little cuticle bit. You guys know from watching previous Watch Me Work videos, I have a couple of little cuticle bits that I like. I will link them below for you guys. I get them at the Pink Chair in Saskatoon. So I'm just going at half speed here, and as you can see, I am just flaking away all of that dry, dead cuticle. You want to make sure to remove this, you guys. If you do not, it basically creates a barrier between the product and the natural nail, and guess what? You will have a ton of lifting, and we do not want that. So make sure you go in and get all of that cuticle off. So once I have removed all of the cuticle, I do go in and just use a dust brush and dust off all of the nails, and now I'm going in with a cleanser. This is my custom 50-50 mix of 99% alcohol and 100% acetone, and I'm just using a little brush. This is an old brush. I actually prefer to use the Smile Line brushes, but you guys, I dropped mine and broke it right in half, and it was just a disaster. So I've ordered a new one. I'm still waiting for it to come. So I've just got this old, I think it was an old acrylic brush that I honestly just cut it off. And I'm using that to scrub the cleanser in there. And I really like to use the brush because I find that it gets really good into that cuticle area and gets all the dust out. And next I'm going to apply 2 coats of primer. You guys know I love the Young Nails Protein Bond, so I am applying 2 coats like I said, and if the brush looks different, it's because it is. I have actually purchased an empty bottle off of eBay, and I just transferred my Protein Bond into this bottle because I really had a hard time using that small little white bottle that the Protein Bond comes in. I had several reasons why. Honestly, I didn't like the brush on it. I didn't like how tiny it was. I found it a little hard to hold. So I just purchased an empty bottle on eBay, and I put my Protein Bond in it, and I find it way easier to apply. So like I said, I'm going in with 2 coats of my primer before I start applying my acrylic. So I'm just going to be doing a backfill on her nails. So I'm using that same custom blush pink color. You guys, I don't remember all the measurements. I think that I talked about it a little bit in the butterfly design nails video, or butterfly nail design video. So go check that out as well. It's a custom mix. I know that there are tons and tons of blush pink acrylics out there, but I really like to custom mix this one. So I'm just going to do an infill or a backfill, whichever you prefer. Now, of course, as I always tell you guys, when you are applying your acrylic, be careful not to get the product all over the skin. As you can see, I am using a number 10 brush. This is actually one from eBay. I normally use my brush from Joann's, but I purchased this one off of eBay and I wanted to give it a try. So I've been using it and I really like it. It's a very, very good, inexpensive brush, but you just need to apply it at the cuticle area. There is absolutely no reason to oversaturate the skin and constantly be wiping your brush on the skin, you guys. If you find that you are doing that, then you are using way too wet of a bead, you're using way too big of a bead. Just don't do it. I understand that at times, like I've said before, we do run into situations where we just have an accident, but we don't want to be doing this as a regular practice. So I'm just going to be applying the acrylic bead at the cuticle area, and I'm going to be feathering it down, and obviously making sure also to check the apex and making sure that I have enough acrylic. If I have to add a second bead, I will do so, and I'm going to go through and do this to all 10 fingers. Alright guys, so I am now going to go in with my hand file and I'm going to refine her shape. She likes to have long coffin nails, so I'm going to make sure to sharpen up that edge, and I'm not going to be buffing the nails because I am going to be using a matte top coat before I do the design. I will talk a little bit about that more later as to why I do that, and I am using the Young Nails 100 grit files. I'm not loving these files simply because I actually find them almost too coarse. I would never think I would say that, but I am finding them a bit too coarse. So I am going to try and see. I think that they have 150 grit files or I think it's 150 grit files. So I'm going to try those next and see if I like them. I'm still not 100% sure about the shape of the files still. I still prefer a straight edge file, but I am using them because I have them. So I'm going in, like I said, and I'm refining her shape, and then we'll get ready to finally start doing some design work. So another thing that I get asked quite often is what is on my finger. So I'm talking about that green stuff you see right there, that green wrap. People ask me all the time why I have that on my finger and also why I have it on my handpiece. So the reason that I put it on my finger is so that as I'm filing, I'm not going to file into my finger. I used to actually file the skin on my finger so bad that I had kind of a little hole in my finger, and if it would get wet, like when I'd have a shower, it actually looked like someone took a bite out of my finger because over time I had filed the skin down so far. So I use this stuff here, and it is called vet tape. Lots of suppliers sell it. I actually get it at one of my medical supply places here in my city, or I order it on Amazon. And the reason that I also put it on my handpiece is because I find that it really helps with my carpal tunnel. The handpiece is actually a little bit slippery, I find, when I'm using it because I wear gloves. So I also find that it's a little bit too thin or skinny. So when I apply the vet tape to the handpiece, it bulks it up and makes it a little bit fatter, and it also adds grip to it so I don't have to hold and squeeze so hard. So if you have carpal tunnel issues when you're using your hand file, definitely add a little bit of this vet wrap or vet tape to the handle, and it'll really, really help you guys. Alright guys, so as I mentioned earlier, I am going to actually start off by putting a layer of matte top coat. So the reason that I'm doing this is I find that when you are trying to paint any type of a smooth line with a gel polish or a gel paint, I find that applying a matte top coat really gives you a nice smooth line. If you only buff the nail, I still find that even though you're buffing it, there's still tiny little grooves, and you will still see a little bit of bleeding with the product. It doesn't matter if you buff it. So I find that just putting a thin layer of a matte top coat first and then drawing your lines, you get a really nice crisp line. And the colors that I'm going to be using are a dark teal. This is just a custom mix. I can't even remember what I used to mix this. I'm so sorry, you guys. And I'm also going to be using a taupe or a tan color called Always Late by Madame Glam. I really love the Madame Glam gel polishes, as you guys know. And then I'm going to be needing a striping brush. I've got this one. I've probably had this one for 10 years. It's a really, really long striping brush. And that is the key if you guys are wanting to make very straight lines. The longer the brush you have, the straighter the line will be. You don't have to be worrying about your hand shaking or anything like that. If you have a really, really long brush like something like this, it helps to make perfectly straight lines. So as I mentioned, this design was originally created by Nails by Tony. I'm going to insert a photo here for you guys and his Instagram handle. His nails are amazing. So this client, when she came in, we weren't sure. At first she said she wanted to do like a pink marbling. She usually does marbling. She loves marbling nails. And then she kind of was like, I don't know, do you have any ideas? And I just sort of went through some pictures that I had saved, and I was like, ooh, let's try this guy. Now I know people always want to ask me how long it took to do a design, so she was actually here for 2.5 hours. Now you have to keep in mind when this client comes in, we are talking a lot, we are laughing a lot, we're listening to music, she's showing me videos on her phone, so I do very much take my time. And this design, because it had a lot of like line work to it, I did want to really take my time to get those lines really perfect, or as perfect as I could. So keep in mind that yes, this did take a lot longer than normal, but her nails we always just kind of chill and take our time with. I never rush with her. So what I do is I start off by drawing that long line down the center, and then I just take my gel polish and I fill in the one side of the nail, so the outside of the nail. And then you'll notice I go in with a smaller, shorter striping brush or detail brush, and I just fill in that cuticle area to make sure that it's nice and close and butted up to the skin there, but not touching the skin. And we are only going to do one coat. If you were not going to put the leopard print over this, I would do 2 coats just to make sure that it's really opaque. But because we were doing the leopard print, I knew that it was going to mask any shadowing or anything like that, so I didn't bother. So just doing 1 coat of the Madam Glam, and then I'm doing 1 nail at a time, and I'm getting it in the light just so that nothing moves and we keep that straight line. So once all of the tan color is cured, I'm going to go in with that dark teal color, and I'm just using my shorter liner brush or detailer brush, and I'm creating half of a smile line. And then I'm actually starting off by using that longer striping brush, but I end up switching back to the smaller liner brush. You really don't need the long one for this, but I did start off on the pinky just creating that long or that line down the center with the long brush. Like I said, I switched later to the smaller detail brush, and then I'm going to go in and start filling in that teal area. So I started off by using the detailer brush here, the shorter one, but I end up going in with my Fusion Oval number 2, and that's what I finish filling in with. I love the Oval number 2 brush from Fusion. It is my favorite brush for applying gel polishes or gel paints to the nail. So I just go and continue to do this on all 10 fingers, and again I cure each nail in between separately. So once all the nails were cured, I did go back in with another little thin layer of the dark teal color just to make sure that everything was very opaque and all the color was even. So next I'm going to get into doing the leopard print. Now I do prefer doing my leopard print with black acrylic paint or acrylic paint in general. I'm not sure if it's just habit or what, but I do prefer using the acrylic paint. So I'm going to use this brush here. Now I have this brush specifically designated for leopard print because I do a dotting motion. So I know you can't really see it in this video, but I do have another video of some Valentine's Day nails where I go into detail on exactly how I create my leopard print, so I will post that below for you guys, so check that out if you want to get a little more detail. But basically I just use a dotting motion with my brush. I know some people like to use a dotting tool as well, and I'm just creating sort of irregular C's and dots or colons, and then I'm going to fill in around those with sort of like splotches. I know it's really hard to see because my hand is in the way, but definitely check out that other video because it shows you in detail how I do my leopard print. So I'm going to go in and create the leopard print on all of the tan nails, and the acrylic paint will be dry by the time I get done the 10th nail, and then I'll add my striping tape before we apply our top coat. So here you get a better view of what I mean when I say I kind of do a dotting motion and I create these little C's and sort of circles. They're very irregular, and in between the C's and the circles, I do sort of irregular dots, as you can see. So you just want to fill in the space. Again, they're very irregular. Some of them are more round, some of them are more elongated. You want them to all look very different. Alright guys, so it's time to get into using this striping tape. Now when I say striping tape, every nail tech out there probably cringed, but I'm not using the traditional striping tape that we all hate with a passion. This stuff here actually sticks very well, so I got this stuff on eBay. I know Glitter Mix Canada started carrying some as well. I don't think that they had rose gold though. I believe that they had white, black, I think they had some holographic ones. I can't remember. I do have some of theirs. I just can't remember offhand which colors they have, but I know that I did get these ones off of eBay. But these little scissors that I'm using are from Glitter Mix Canada, so if you need some of those beautiful scissors, check out Glitter Mix Canada. I have a coupon code for you guys. So the thing about this striping tape is that it actually sticks very well. So I'm just going down the center of the nail and I am just applying it. You will see later on I actually go in with another tool from Glitter Mix Canada. It is a pair of tweezers that has a silicone tool on the end of it, and I use that silicone tool to just press down and make sure that this striping tape is pressed down very, very well. And as you could see, I just took my file at the edge there and I just kind of filed off the last little bit. So I'm going to put all the striping tape on all 10 fingers, and then we are going to get ready for our top coat. Okay guys, so we're almost finished with this design. I'm now going to go in with 2 coats of my top coat, and I am again just using the 2M Beauty top coat, the matte top coat from the Pink Chair in Saskatoon. Now the reason that I am going in with 2 coats, there's actually 2 reasons. So one being that I used acrylic paint for the leopard print. Anytime I do acrylic paint work, I always do 2 coats of top coat, whether it be shiny or matte. I find that if I don't do 2 top coat layers, that the acrylic paint just can chip out and it just doesn't seal properly, not like if you used a gel polish or a gel paint. And the second reason I'm doing 2 coats is because of that striping tape. So what can sometimes happen is the striping tape will poke out on the edges, so up near the cuticle area and particularly on the tip. And you know what, even with 2 coats of top coat, sometimes that can still happen because the top coat will sort of rub away. It'll actually get worn away eventually. You know, when your clients come back and their tips are not as maybe sharp as they used to be because things start to wear down, but the Striping tape will not wear away, so what happens is the top coat on the free edge will wear away and that little bit of striping tape will poke through, but my client is very, very good at just filing the edge if she needs to, so she's well aware that if she starts to feel that striping tape sort of just slightly poking through, that she's just going to take her hand file and lightly smoothen that out. But regardless of that, always do 2 coats over your striping tape and it will help the longevity of it. Alright guys, so that is it for another Watch Me Work video. I hope that I did Tony proud with these nails. I absolutely loved the design. I actually posted a little video of them, just a little snippet for people to see, and I got lots of feedback, and several people actually said, I hope that you did a tutorial on this, so I'm glad that I filmed this. I learned from my last design on this client with the leopard print when I got tons of questions or comments or DMs saying, did you do a tutorial? And I hadn't done one, so I'm going to make sure that I try to film every set that I do with this girl. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with someone else. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, guys, have an amazing day.